In this video, we are going to create a pivot table using grouped dates. Let's build a pivot table from our car sales data that shows us how many dollars we made in sales by sales rep and also by month. Before I start, I want to check and see if my table is named. So I'll click anywhere in my table, go to Table Tools Design, and then check the table name to make sure something's there. In this case, my table is named Sales, but this would also work if it was just Table 1. What I really need to know is just what is the name of this table. Now let's go ahead and add a new sheet. And on that sheet, I'm going to click in B4, and I'm going to start my pivot table right here. So I'll do Insert, Pivot Table, and then where it says Select Table or Range, I'm going to type in the word Sales, because that's the name of my table. And we'll leave existing worksheet and then sheet 3B4, so that's perfect. I'll say OK. And here's my pivot table. I'm going to right click on the pivot table and choose Pivot Table Options. And let's give the pivot table a name, so Sales by Salesperson and Month. And then I'll click OK. Now let's go ahead and build the pivot table. Over here on the side, I'm going to find the rep name, and I'm going to drag it into my columns. And over here you can see that we now have rep names as our column headings. Good. Let's get the date and drag it down to our rows. And now I have a date, well I have a year, and then I have the sales reps. And finally let me get the total sales or the actual sales price and drag it into values, and that will fill in our pivot table. Because we're using a date, Excel automatically groups it first by year, then by month, and then by day. And I can click here on this little plus sign, and that will open it up and show it by month. If I don't want the year included in my grouping, I can click on any of these dates, right-click, and choose Group. And in this dialog box that pops up, I can unclick Years and say OK. And now the years are gone, and we're just down to months and the associated dates. And I can click the little minus signs here to recompress this so that just the months are showing. Or I can use that, now that it's compressed, it's a plus, I can click on that and see the underlying data. So that's kind of cool. If you didn't want to be able to expand that, you could go back in here to Group and turn the days off as well and say OK. And now it's just sales by month. In addition, because it is a date, I can go back into Group at any time and add the days or the years or even quarters if I want to do that.